sending out 2014 and other, some don't even belong to this country.
Ghana Police Service begin clampdown on all commercial vehicles failing to comply with social distancing directive and abusing exceptions granted them.
Today, there is much activity, clamping down on their activities and redirecting them to go back.
We'll bring you details as over 100 commercial vehicles here in Accra have been impounded. Also in the bulletin, poor and vulnerable cry out for lack of support as they review their difficulty staying indoors without any saved incomes in the wake of the lockdown.
My
customers have banned me from coming to their houses because of the virus.
We'll hear from them as government begins processes to alleviate their plight.
We will give you food, water for bathing, and get you a place to lay your head.
We'll hear from the gender minister shortly.
And in business, industries warn production of some essential stuff could suffer if the coronavirus is not contained before the end of the second quarter.
And the singing campaign continues to raise awareness about COVID-19. I'll tell you more about it. All that and more here on Newsnight with me, Emefa Apawu. Please join me with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp is 0244340437. It will be my pleasure to hear from you. And details now. We have just news. I told you on Top Story that 161 cases have now been recorded COVID-19. It used to be 152. But I have good news tonight as well. 31 out of these cases that tested positive have been treated and discharged. 31 recoveries. Now, according to the Minister of Health, Menu, the 31 persons who were receiving treatment at various isolation centers across the country tested negative and are now under surveillance in self-quarantine. He added that health personnel have also been assigned to them for the next 4 weeks. Listen.
Out of the 152 that we have tested positive and taken to care, 31 of them have been discharged. They just don't discharge. They keep testing about 3 or 4 times for it to show negative before they do the discharge. The discharge is not allowing you to come freely outside. They go visit your home, they look at other factors and try to put you into self-quarantine, though you are okay, so that they continue monitoring you for the next week or 2 before they allow you to go free. That was yesterday. There was only one that has been discharged from Kumasi, but I need to check on it as to where these people have actually been discharged. But there are a lot of them in Accra. I need numbers that I don't have immediately on my hands.
Well, the minister himself, Mr. Menu, had some fears of being exposed to COVID-19. So he also took the test. Here's his results.
But after the quarantine, we realized that almost all the police and the airport staff have been exposed, including even myself. I've done 1 test, negative, and that the president has ordered that all those of us who worked with those who were quarantining and all that should be tested. And that is actually ongoing today.
That's good news. Our health minister is negative, but he pleads with residents of Accra not to move out of the city because of the restrictions.
And those of us who began to move away from Accra after the president's announcement of the lockdown, I hear all hotels in Aburi are about full. Some of us started going to the north. Some have been intercepted and they have been put into quarantine somewhere in the north. The youth in Tamale wouldn't let them get there. Even those of us who are MPs and have lived in Accra for the past 3 weeks or so, you have become a vulnerable species. When you get to your community now, they don't even want to come close to you. So there's no point trying to leave Accra to go anywhere. The whole thing is that we are chasing the virus. So stay where you are and let us contain the disease where you are. Luckily for us, the disease is not killing people in Ghana as elsewhere.
Now, the minister says that his ministry, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Trade, as well as the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, are collaborating with some companies to start the mass production of face masks.
But the most important thing that I took note of is the President's request that let us begin to do things at home, which all pharmaceutical companies, the PMAC people, when the President met you, It's like all he said, you have done for us. We are still talking to industries to try to do what we can do with producing our own face masks. And the Minister for Trade and the Minister for Environment and Science are working on this. Hopefully by tomorrow next, we'll begin to see homemade face masks that we will use to protect ourselves without importing anything to this country.
That's the Health Minister, Kweku Agyemang-Manu. It's a good time to now check on day 2 compliance of the lockdown as imposed by the President, which started yesterday. The Ghana Police Service is clamping down on all commercial vehicles failing to observe the rules on social distancing, abusing the exemption given to them. Director of Operations for the Accra Region Police, Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori, said the move has become necessary as the drivers are risking their own lives and their passengers. Efwa Evans Chinri reports.
Effective 1 a.m. on Monday, 30th March, some 48 hours from now, I have imposed, pursuant to the powers granted the President of the Republic under the Imposition of Restrictions Act, 2020 Act 1012, restrictions on movement of persons in the Greater Accra Metropolitan Area, GAMA, which includes Awutu Senya East Municipality, and the Greater Kumasi Metropolitan Area and contiguous districts for a period of 2 weeks, subject to review.
The reason for the restrictions was to stop the spread of the coronavirus in Ghana, but it appears some people want to abuse it. Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori.
Today, there is much activity, clamping down on their activities and redirecting them to go back. They are also carrying a lot of people who have no business under special condition, like being employees of some vital organization like the Ministry of Health, Electricity, Water, Security, among others. But rather, we've seen that a lot of people are trooping into the city, just coming around to loiter. And we are also doing away with this kind of people, making sure that they go back home and be safe. So it is a grand security operation going on. All the 14 divisions in Accra, all the regional operation groups and the national, we are together, acting under this directive to make sure that we contain activities of the trotro drivers and make sure that we are able to gain grounds in the city center.
Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori says taxi drivers are exempt from this exercise, but if they are found to flout any of the directives, they'll be severely dealt with. The team, after this interview, went to parts of the capital to find out what has been happening on day 2 of the lockdown.
Truly, I'm from duty. I just closed from duty, and I'm going home.
What?
It's official.
I'm just coming from the house to
Coming from where?
the house,
From the house? Okay.
going to FBN Bank because I provide cleaning services to their branches. And then, the directive, though the cleaning services are not part of it, but because of the nature of the bank industry, there's no way the cleaners will not be there. So we were asked to provide them T-shirts and some IDs so that they can easily move around. And that's why I'm rushing to their office.
Everyone found on the street had one excuse or the other. They were either going grocery shopping or visiting a relative at the hospital. Those who couldn't give tangible excuses were arrested or sent back home. They too look busy for those found on the streets, especially security personnel. They have vowed not to relent in their efforts to ensure everyone complies with the directives by President Ekufuado.
You heard the Emefa Evans Chinnery's report. Now, elsewhere in Dansoman, the police commanders impounded over 100 commercial vehicles for breaching the social distancing protocols. In some instances, the commuters were forced to alight and walk to their various destinations. Dansoman Divisional Police Commander ACP Isaac Asante is asking driver unions to ensure their members comply with the lockdown measures.
And I must say, a lot of Ghanaians are not law-abiding. They can't take simple instructions. The president is asking you to stay at home for your own good. And look at what is happening, even the charges and all those things. You see, I think the GPRTs also must also do us good by even asking their drivers to run at a shift. Every taxi driver wants to operate, and I don't know if they are even operating. They are not even operating at a loss. You see, we are asking you to social distance the passengers. Is that not it?
Yeah, sure.
And everybody wants to operate. So why can't the GPRTU or the executive sit down and ask their 30 cars? They ask maybe 10 vehicles to operate today, the next 10 the following day. Then everybody at least can get something to do. Yeah, in fact, we are impounded a lot of vehicles. We impounded the vehicles, almost 100. And
You've impounded about 100 vehicles?
Yeah, about 100. But it also was becoming a problem at the police station. Social distancing, because they were gathered at the place, and we can also not tell who is infected or not. So at a point, we have to give them warning and ask them not to come to the jurisdiction again.
Some of the affected drivers, however, accusing the police of bias. They spoke to us.
We are working. I picked someone, and on my way here, they stopped me, asking me where am I going. And I told them that they are working, that I'm working. I told them that I'm working. And for them to tell me something, they didn't utter any word. They directed me inside here, that I should pass.
So your car has been impounded?
Yes. And not me alone.
And
me alone.
And has there been any reason for that?
No, they have not said any reason. No reason. That we are the ones making a whole lot of people coming to town. That we are causing that, which we don't understand.
This morning I was coming with my car owner. He was sitting in front wearing a nose mask, and he was even going to put money at EcoBank. When we reached here, they told him to get down, and I asked them why. They said Uber shouldn't work. And I said, oh, they said Uber can work. Now you can pick only one passenger. That's all. And they alerted my car owner, so I just went on to do my work. When I was coming, I was just coming with another passenger. He alone was sitting at the back seat. When I read there, they said the passenger should get down, and they just escorted me inside. They said Uber shouldn't work. But meanwhile, the Uber sent us a message. They said we should pick only one passenger at the back, but we shouldn't pick more than two. And the passenger I was picking was one. I was wearing my seatbelt. We are just miserable here. No one will just listen to any nonsense that you see, and they're just keeping on pushing the cars inside without giving any reasonable reason. Nobody should work.
So do you have an indication when they are going to release your car to you?
No, nothing has been mentioned like that. So
when I just got here, they've mounted the barrier. I don't know. They just asked me to go and park the car. I asked them the reason why I should go and park the car. There's no one has given me any reason.
You heard there some drivers interacting with my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wills. Now, in a separate development, there have been reports of abuse by security personnel in parts of restricted areas in Accra. Yesterday, for instance, lawyer Kpapo Samuel Ado posted on his Facebook page a medical form of two of his clients who have been allegedly assaulted. We've had a number of cases like that as well, but this was what he wrote on in that attachment. Quote, "My clients have reported to the police the assault on them this morning. This is their medical form. Clearly, judgment there to arise for persons who can't control themselves." Now listen to this gentleman who is also accusing the police of extortion.
Police station anymore. Now police will be almost stop here. And a police need a back on. I
was going to get food. I was in a trotro. When we got to the Klagon police barrier, the policeman asked all of us to calm down. They took us to the police station and asked us to undress, and then they put us in the cells. They didn't ask us what we were going to do. But I know government says you can go and get food, you can visit the public toilet and get essentials.
Government will say, who could tell you, and I will call, oh, public toilet will call, oh, call bank I will call. And police here, I say, police in shower, a big south, say, if you are calling, there is no use in Papa Mana, and the amount of that. But most men without machine, mom can be no.
We paid money before they let us go.
I'm not saying, you see, I say,
there were about 8 of us in one room. I don't know about the other room.
But other guys, you know,
So you heard some residents, a resident there speaking to us about some extortion from the police. We're looking at the general lockdown situation and policing generally. There have been some cases of abuses as well. We're grateful to be joined on the phone by Madame Emefa Apawu. She speaks for the Greater Accra Region Police Command. We're grateful for your time here on Newsnight, ma'am. But before we talk about the cases of extortions that we've heard and some cases of abuses, I would want to generally find out about policing during the lockdown period. Is day 2. How has it been so far?
Yes, Emefa, thank you very much. Largely, it's been successful. Right from the time that we said we were going to get some areas locked down, it was strictly adhered to. The police ensured that all the places that we earmarked for the lockdown were successfully done. And so right after the lockdown, the police also ensured that we were not allowing vehicles to either enter or exit these outlying areas. And that has been the explanation right from the beginning. We have done so right from the beginning of this lockdown until now. What we generally saw was that people actually did not understand what we were implementing. There was some lack of education, and for that matter, the police had to do a lot of education, get people more sensitized on what we are doing, so that they'll get a better appreciation of what we are doing, and for the fact that whatever we are doing is for their own good. Yesterday, like this, we had to do a lot of monitoring around, and per our assessment, we realized that some people who actually did not fall within the exemption had open shops. There was a place where we visited, and a person was dealing in some second-hand clothes. Quickly, we had to let the person lock up the shop. Other times too, we found that people playing the very social distancing that we were talking about. We also noticed that they actually did not know staying at home probably could mean that, yes, I could go into the community and play with other people. These were things that we were speaking against, and so we had to educate them. And even in the community, we realized that the elderly ones in there even have to come and support, and even promised that henceforth they were going to ensure that some of these directives were complied, because they thought that it was the other way around. They didn't know that they couldn't come together as we did not expect. And so that has been the situation. Day 2 has been also successful, but this morning we realized that people wanted to take undue advantage of the exemptions and come into some areas that they were not supposed to. We will see people going to other areas where they were not supposed to. We said that if you have to even buy any of these essentials, get any foodstuff, water, you should do so within your community. But people were moving from one place to another, joining vehicles when they don't have to, and all that. So we made sure that we were strict on that, inspected people who were joining commercial vehicles, find out why they need to go out, and make sure that there was full compliance of the entire exercise. So as I speak to you now, we are still at the Wager Junction, And it is still for the purposes of ensuring that people comply with the directives.
Okay, but have we had cause, for instance, have your personnel had cause to use minimal force in any instance as we speak?
Actually, Emefa, I have seen a couple of videos that have been shown on the internet, and though I am told that some of them are not real, I don't want to believe that we are having some of these things, because the instructions were very clear. The instructions were that we wanted to do everything within the limits of the law, and that if anybody should flout any of these rules, we have a better option of arrest, and the person is prosecuted per the Imposition of Restriction Act, which has clearly stated the penalties and punishments that any person who breaches must have. So we have said that we don't want to use some forces that would lead to police excesses, and that if anybody should flout any of this, it is generally anticipated that in some of these operations we will have people that would sometimes want to provoke the police, test the police, and see whether the police can do anything of the sort. But whatever it is, we expect that, yes, whoever flouts any of these directives, there are measures that a person needs to follow. There are due processes that these people need to be taken on, especially when we have some designated courts that have been mentioned by the Chief Justice just yesterday, so that such people are duly arrested and made to face the full rigors of the law. We are trying as much as we can to see if we can also complement them with some complaints to see if some of these complaints can be channeled so that we can have an appropriate time to also get to them and listen to them and see how best we can address some of these things.
And this complaint desk that you're talking about is for those who feel they've been abused by your men.
Exactly, that is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, we're grateful for your time, Madam. That's DSP Ifia Tenge. She speaks for the Accra Region Police Command. Now, a combined team of police, military, and city guard in Kumasi today arrested close to 20 people for defying the lockdown to loiter on the streets. They were picked up and caged in the truck at Asafo in enforcement of the restriction. Love FM's Erastus Asaredonko was on the streets, and here's his report.
Many parts of Kumasi are virtually deserted. Few people are seen on the major streets. However, in places like the Asafo Cold Store area, many frozen food stores are open, attracting buyers. The numbers are almost breaching the health protocols against the spread of COVID-19. There are individuals who are also found loitering, and some of them came face to face with the monitoring team. Each of those who were arrested had a story to tell about why they were on the streets in breach of the lockdown.
I'm a hustler. This morning I decided to test the environment to see whether I can go to work. And they bundled me into this vehicle. They are being selective too.
They said they face people to work, so I was working that they gave me that I entered the car. I didn't do something. See all my clothes, I'm working on the face side.
You work with the coastal?
Yes, I work with the coastal people at the face people side.
We are having a combined team of military personnel, KMA city guards, and this vehicle is following that particular team. And these are people they've rounded up. They say they are gallivanting or just going about strolling the streets, and that's why they've been caged here.
Head of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Security Guards, Anthony Gia, told our news team the suspects will be handed over to the Regional Police Command for appropriate action.
We are taking them to Central Police Station. We are going to give them to the police for the necessary action to be taken against them, since we don't know what they are doing in town. They are roving about doing practically nothing. So we've prepared to take them to the central police station. I've called the security zone officer. He's coming so that we escort them to the central police station. We are on it. We are roving about. If we see any person roving about in town doing practically nothing, when the person is questioned and have no answer to give, the person also will be handed over to the police.
Meanwhile, some traders were found selling non-food items were asked to close and go home.
You are not allowed to open the shop. I know you are aware. You were told. Everybody was informed, and therefore you have been arrested.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Now, today, the Interior Minister has been addressing issues about abuse of citizens by security officials in the enforcement of the restrictions imposed by the President. He tells them they will be dealt with. Now, he says one such case has been referred to the IGP to sanction the police personnel involved. Now, speaking to the media outside Parliament House, Mr. Derry cautioned members of the public also to desist from spreading fake news that police and military officials have been involved in widespread brutalities.
One video that came out that was real, it has been referred to IGP, action is being taken, and we will deal with the people. Because at the end of the day, the President has made it clear this is an operation to protect the lives of our people. It is not an operation to terrorize our people. And therefore, yesterday, the IGP and the Chief of Defense Staff of the Army were here, went around, we were in contact, my colleagues, Defense Minister, National Security Minister were in touch with them. Today they have gone to Kumasi. And we are prepared to even take calls. And we have given you the numbers that we want to correct it. Yes, it's not all perfect. I was the first to admit that. And we will deal with those. But at the same time, let's stop this game of sending out 2014 and other, some don't even belong to this country. Several videos are on platforms. Fake news. Things that happened years ago, trying to create the impression that this humanitarian action by security agencies is meant to be draconian and that we are beating people to pulp and the rest of them. All that is not necessary. Yes, we have received some reports which show that not everything is perfect, and that we are prepared to correct.
Now, he also took the opportunity to talk about the minorities' concern with the establishment of the COVID-19 support fund. Yesterday, you heard from the minority spokesperson on Defense and Interior, James Agalga, who says that the disaster fund under the NADMO Act should rather be activated instead of setting up a new fund, which is the COVID-19 support fund. But Mr. Derry says the NADMO disaster fund can only be activated in times of state emergency.
My attention has been drawn to a statement made by Honorable Agalga that the creation of a COVID-19 fund was first unnecessary, and that secondly, that indeed there is existing a fund under the NADMO Act, and therefore that fund could have been easily activated. Ignorance is acceptable. Arrogance is unacceptable. The fund at NADMO is only activated when the state of emergency is invoked under Article 31 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and the law expressly states that. What we are operating upon now is a law that we passed in Parliament under Article 21, and therefore the COVID-19 fund is both legal and appropriate, because that other fund could only have been activated if pursuant to Article 31 the state of emergency had been declared. At this stage, I would ask that all stakeholders, try to be decoys in these matters. There's no need to be partisan, and there's even no need to be arrogant. I think we can have a difference of opinion, but the law is the law, and it's only under Article 31 that the NADMO fund is operational.
And that's the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry. The Newsnight will take a quick break. We'll go for business shortly also. And when we return, poor and vulnerable cry out for lack of support as they review their difficulty staying indoors without any saved incomes in the wake of the lockdown.
yare ni da mo kai ni na ye burn off no ye ni dan wo ho ye da bontin.
My customers have banned me from coming to their houses because of the virus.
And also later, the COVID-19 singing campaign to raise awareness is on.
There comes a time when we hear a certain call, when the world can't come together as one. There are people die. It's time to wash our hands to prevent worse disease right now.
We'll also be celebrating frontline workers. Joy News introducing the segment to encourage the public to celebrate COVID-19 frontline workers. That's coming up shortly also on Newsnight. Let's do business now, George.
And they are more than the word celebration. Because if you have people who are working there, you know, listen, it's not just about prayer, but also the word talks about the fact that faith without works is dead. Yeah. So, you know, while you pray for them, you also help them personally. And you know,
with PPEs and all, whatever you can do to make their
take out the
work
pressure.
easier.
I mean, take out their 1 month salary, 2 month salary. That would not be bad. I mean, you know, people are donating their salaries to a fund, you know.
Join the challenge.
The challenges of all these are, we love our doctors, we love our nurses, and all the physicians at the hospital.
My brother is a doctor, so I understand. Well, give me business.
Well, Emefa, coming up in business, industries warn production of some essential stuff could suffer if the corona pandemic is not contained before the end of the second quarter. And Registrar General's Department extends deadline for businesses to file their annual returns to June 30. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank. How can we help you? And remember, it has been 25 years of providing that platform for regulators of the financial market to connect to the business community.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is all right. I'm not seeing tofu. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no. Why did you leave Abeku alone on the bed?
But I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look. The video freezes again. By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband. We're there for you, everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop. With customer satisfaction, it's a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Joy
FM.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. And industries are warning the local production could be crippled if the coronavirus is not contained by the second quarter of this year. According to them, the current stocks available may not be able to go beyond the second quarter of this year. Sir Chima Kwabwa is the chief executive of the Association of Ghana Industries.
Definitely, the other challenge that we may have, but that may not be immediate, has to do with the raw material base for the production of these items. If they have enough of the raw materials, that's not a problem. But I can imagine that if this lockdown progresses and it delays a bit, then we are likely to have a challenge because it's not just the in-country lockdown, it's also the border and all that. So goods coming from outside may be truncated, and that will have an effect on the production of this. But I believe that government will be talking to industry, and we'll see the arrangements we will be making, make sure that those essential raw materials are brought into the country to aid production for the general market.
Sir Chuma Kwabwa is Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries. The Registrar General's Department has extended the deadline for businesses to file their annual returns from April 30 to June 30, 2020. According to the Registrar General, this is targeted at companies limited by shares, guarantee, and external companies, as well as renewal of partnership. Madam Jimama Owari is the Registrar General.
Basically, in the wake of the shutdown due to the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, it's going to be most unfair to expect businesses to file their returns by April 30th, which would have been the normal deadline. Most businesses have not been able to hold their AGMs as a result of this whole coronavirus pandemic. And so we just thought it is just right for us to extend it to ensure that we're praying this thing gets off by the end of April or even earliest May, so that all the accounts can be completed and circulated at the AGM. By then, by the 30th of June, I think they should be able to file their returns by then.
What would happen to those who might fail to take advantage of this window?
Oh, unfortunately, penalties are going up from July 6th. July 6th. And so if they do not take advantage of this window we are giving to them, they would still be able to file, but then there will be a penalty of 450 Ghana cedis in addition to the number of years that they haven't filed their returns.
Madam Jimama Owari is the Registrar General for the Registrar General Department. Now, some local fashion designers are taking advantage of the high demand for nose masks, which is seen as one of the protective equipment against the spread of this coronavirus. Karen Dodo has been engaged in some of these designers, and she has the rest of the story.
On TV, in the markets, and even in your neighborhood, you'll see pedestrians all in face masks. The personal protective equipment has gradually become a must for not just health professionals, but for the everyday Ghanaian as protection against COVID-19. With increase in demand and a global shortage, local entrepreneurs knew it was time to step in.
When you look at the inner part, there's the lining. The lining...
Debbie, a young fashion designer in Accra, decided to make the best out of the situation by producing nose masks. Using locally printed fabrics and strings, Debbie sews the reusable masks. Why reusable? To be cost effective.
When we look at the low-income earners, you realize that not everybody would be able to afford the nose mask as much as they would want to. So this brought about the mindset of preparing a reusable one. It's something you wash and eliminating any possible virus that might have come in contact with it.
With a mask selling between 5 and 10 cedis, Debbie has managed to sell over 100 pieces within a couple of weeks. However, production has halted due to the partial lockdown.
As a matter of fact, we are out of stock, we are out of materials, and now it's a lockdown, so we can't even go to the market to get stuff in making more.
Debbie Abba is just one of the numerous fashion designers and entrepreneurs cashing in on the COVID-19 outbreak, as well as helping consumers to stay safe in these hard times. For Joy Business, Karen Dodo.
And still on this development, one of the country's leading four-star luxury resort and hotel, Royal St. located in the eastern region, has shut down the facility for 3 months, that is, from April 1 to June. According to a notice posted on the social media platform, the action was influenced by moves to protect its staff and guests. It adds that it has taken the decision after some careful engagement with the experts. Now, the hospitality industry has been one of the hardest hit as a result of this coronavirus. According to businesses learning that some hotels have also shut down their operations, whilst others are operating at a 20% capacity. Now, these players are currently pushing for a stimulus package from government to save the industry. I don't know whether you've been, I know you enjoy that place where you're saying, they are going down, and it's as a result of some are saying that a lot of players in the hospitality industry are facing lots of challenges, and it's about how to deal with the workers, operate at a minimal facility, or even close down, and it indeed hard times for these guys.
And some of them have also given up their facilities for quarantine, mandatory quarantine.
Because
as well,
looking at shutting down and still having it used to get some little money, it might be the best option to do. But what you think about is what is going to happen to these workers? Are they still going to be paid whilst at home? Or some, I've been told to take a pay cut already. The discussions are in the office.
You're torn between being unemployed, being out of business, or not having
Even
a job at all, then taking a pay cut. I'm sure
developed economies, millions of persons have already lost their jobs.
Of course, we are not the only ones facing this situation. But we pray we get out of it soon.
The challenge is on donating the salary to medical doctors.
I'll start with my brother.
Okay.
I told you.
I'll also start with some of my
friends. And you started with your friends as well.
I'll start. I won't say I've started.
You okay, George. Thank you very much, George Wiafe. Talk about the frontline health workers, and I have a heartwarming message from Kofi Mensah, Sue, and he says, to paraphrase Tupac, to all our health workers, there's definitely no way we can pay you back, but this is to show we understand. You are appreciated. You know that song?
No.
Okay.
Is it To Appreciate by Tupac?
Okay, I'm sure I don't know. I don't know that song.
When I was young and
okay. Well, God bless you, your families, and our homeland Ghana. Gifts to Ando Apia will join me shortly. We'll talk about the front line. And Kofi also says it's heartwarming, the news of the recovery rate, and hopefully soon, by God's grace, we shall prevail over the COVID-19. Let's obey the lockdown rules, and the results will improve. God's got us. Of course, He does. And my take with regards to those who force the restriction order is to make these offenders clean our various gutters, streets, and markets for a day or two instead of the severe whipping meted out to offenders. Patients from Afienya sent that one in. Michael says, is there no isolation center at the Tamale Teaching Hospital? Why will the patient or the COVID-19 be housed in a hotel? That's from Michael. And Ralph Ayi says, we can't accept this explanation from the minister. This is a clear negligence of duty on the part of the security officials. That is, if there were security guys at post at all. We're told there were. And then Eric Hakuna Matata in Kufuria says, the security personnel must subject those who defy the president's directive to cleaning certain portions of the lockdown area to serve as deterrent to others, and he adds, stay home. AU Farouk Tamale says, I vehemently and I'm passionately calling on the government to establish the COVID-19 testing center in Tamale than we traveling to the south for the COVID-19 test. We are in critical times. We are told that is going to happen. Hashtag stay home. Hashtag wash your hands. Hashtag Newsnight. AU Farouk, thank you. And Abedu in Kwadasu says, I'm very sad Ghana has recorded 9 more cases, pushing Ghana's coronavirus count to 161. So I'm pleading with my fellow Ghanaians to comport themselves and adhere strictly to the partial lockdown imposed by the president. And I'll take this final one. And this one from Justin from Kumasi says, what provision has the government put in place for the pure water sellers and the Kayayes before saying they should stay where they are? They only use their rich standard of living to make comments and force the vulnerable to suffer. So on that Kayaye note, listen.
We will give you food, water for bathing, and get you a place to lay your head. We will also teach you how to wash your hands with soap and water, and give you hand sanitizers, so you do not run away, because if you do and the police gets hold of you, it will be another issue.
assurance from the Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister Cynthia Morrison to headquarters, popularly known as KIA, earlier today in the national capital. Her assurance comes after some Ghanaians, particularly on social media, raised concerns about lack of support for the poor and vulnerable who will have difficulty staying indoors without any saved incomes in the wake of the lockdown. Shortly, we'll hear from government on what provision they've made for the poor, but here's a reminder of why some headquarters may have been fleeing to their hometowns.
The people, mostly headquarters, and their children say they are being forced by the lockdown to return to the north because they have no shelter to stay indoors in Accra. One of them, who identifies herself as Adiza, they would better off in Walewale than Accra during the restriction period.
For my sure, your fault in the corner. Yaren, the burn off. She said, we are
leaving Accra for the north because of the spread of the virus. We don't have any place to sleep. We are going to Walewale, else we would die of hunger in Accra.
The drivers say they accepted to transport the women and girls on humanitarian grounds because they had been stranded at the bus terminal for days.
Nima looks calm as residents observe the president's directive. 55-year-old Ajo lives in a compound house of about 40 occupants. She takes care of her mother and auntie, both old and frail. She's unable to make ends meet on her meager laundry profits of averagely 15 cedis a day. The restriction has locked her down. Ajo laments her family only had provisions for a few days, adding no work would mean hunger.
My customers have banned me from coming to their houses because of the virus. Yesterday, I went to the market with 100 cedis and bought provisions for a few days. Foodstuff prices have been increased.
Now, earlier today, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly patrol team found 20 of the women with their infants hiding in a cargo truck bound for Walewale in the northern region. This comes a day after a Drisu MTTD in the Ashanti region impounded some vehicles in similar fashion. PSC Nanaya Osafo was at the scene in Accra today. Here's his report.
They had planned to travel back home to Walewale to escape the Accra-Kumasi lockdown, which took effect on Monday. Living on the streets of Accra, they certainly had nowhere to call home, so they paid the driver 150 cedis each to take them home. But the driver and his mate bolted with their money, leaving them stranded. Nafisa Amidu and fellow scores of headquarters in Tudu believed they could not possibly self-isolate in the streets. Nafisa could have braved it alone without a place to lay her head, but now she has an infant to take care of. Nafisa, her baby, and scores of other women and children were found by the AMA patrol team hiding in a cargo truck at 5:30 a.m., bound to travel to Walewale.
An enclosed space not wide enough to have two individuals at arm's length, trampoline for roofing sheets with buckets hanging, and extensive heat. This has been the home for over 20 headquarters and their children for about 2 days continuously. They do not have any windows to breathe.
The headquarters, popularly called Kayaye, have one wish: to go back home.
So it's not just the Kayes and slum dwellers who may have to struggle for shelter and food during the 14-day lockdown. Some Ghanaians who have called the streets their homes are appealing to government to come to their aid. One of them, Ofosu Efriye, says he has nowhere to turn for help after he was released from prison.
I'm Ofosu Efriye, and I'm not a worker. I'm just roaming about. I'm a prisoner. I came from one prison last week. So as I came, I don't have money to go back to my hometown.
And how long were you serving for?
They gave me 3 years, and every 1 year is 8 months, so it's 24 months.
And what was your crime?
Assault. I fight with someone at Kanish. Yeah, 2 years ago, and I wounded the person. That was 25th July 2017.
So tell us on Tuesday when you are released, life up till now.
I've seen so many things have been changed because the time I was going to prison and as I came on Tuesday, it's not the same. And this sickness too is telling us something that we all may have to use this to advise ourselves. I don't wish like I'm walking without covering my nose or wellness, but I don't have it. I don't have even 20% on me. Sometimes I used to go to the coconut sellers, the one that people have been drinking and not eat. I eat it. It can cause me to run, but...
Did they give you any precautions or any coronavirus, anything protection as you go and out? Were you tested, anything?
That one I can say God is to protect us. And it's the sickness that killing people outside, we the prisoners, God protect us.
No, okay. I mean, as you left, was anything done or were you given any orientation, anything?
The time the sickness came, some doctors came there and checked us as they check. We call them PPAG, Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana. They came and check our blood, but that one they say is HIV test, and they give us something called simultaneous one. They put it in our mouth if you are facing any challenges, but they did not give us any precaution as coronavirus.
And since today is the lockdown, what are you doing? I mean, lockdown, everyone's supposed to be indoors. You don't have a home yet.
So I say I'm stranded. I want to go to my hometown. I can't speak again.
So sorry.
That's Ofosu Efriye, a recently released convict who, like many other poor and vulnerable in Accra, appealing for help. I've seen a Facebook poster from Kojo Jonas Anson Boateng, and he says that this virus is exposing the widening cleavages within our socio-economic system. One group of travelers dropped from planes with probabilities of infectious virus. They are housed in luxurious hotels. We applaud. Others, packed in trucks en route to their homes, are forcibly repatriated to their original destinations, but housed in an old assembly hall. We are all quiet. We are not. Well, the gender minister, Cynthia Morrison, tells Joy News she was shocked by news of the Kayes fleeing the capital as she had given them some assurances last weekend. However, she tells my colleague Fred Smith the ministry is collating data so they can provide them with food, clothing, and shelter.
And I spoke to them on Sunday. Saturday, I sent my team. Myself, I came to meet them on Sunday, and I told them that nobody should travel. Apparently, when they alighted from the buses, they went behind and sat in the cargo truck. I heard that the cargo truck, but I didn't believe the cargo truck would carry them. So we didn't think that was true until we saw it on telly. But you know, we've been here, we've spoken to them. We are making an arrangement where they'll sleep and all that. Whatever I want to do for them, we'll speak about it tomorrow. You know, once we talk about it now, the numbers that we are registering would be so much that we cannot contain. So we have their numbers. If you go to the ministry now, we are doing the registration. Their leadership is there with us. We are registering them. Those here, we are also going to register them, and then we'll add them to.
Beyond these people, there are others who are also homeless, and if you say people to stay at home, they don't have any home.
Yeah, we are registering those homeless. We are going around. You know, it's quiet now, so we are able to identify them. The mental health authority is also looking at the mental patients. We are also doing the physically challenged. So when we move around, already they have leadership. If we talk about the Kayi, but we have their numbers. Some of them have already left. So we can't use that data, because once we use that data, we are going to send things to people who are also not here. So we are doing the data for those who are here. So that is what we are doing now. As I speak to you, their leadership is at the ministry registering, and then we'll take the numbers of these ones also. I can't stay here till they finish writing their names. So once they finish, the district assembly, Nadmo is also here. They'll give us the information, then we'll register them, and then we'll see what. But tomorrow afternoon, there'll be a press conference to tell you exactly what Nadmo is, Ministry of Gender is doing towards the vulnerable.
But in the meantime, these people are hanging outside. What would you do for them?
Oh, they are here. They've eaten. They've had lunch. We give them supper. We brought them buckets, so shower and everything.
That's the Gender and Social Protection Minister, Cynthia Morrison. It's a good time now to celebrate our frontline workers. We've introduced a new segment to encourage the public to celebrate COVID-19 frontline workers. Head of our security desk, Gifty Andropia. She's also the host of the Frontline, and she joins me in studio. Tell us about the Frontline.
Right, I'll be very brief soon as we run out of time already. So it's sitting on the Pulse, which is a news analysis show on the Joy News channel, and it's essentially just a very short segment. We're hoping to give the public an opportunity to celebrate those people who are putting their lives on the line, not just our health workers, even our security personnel who are out there putting their lives on the line, because every time they come into contact with somebody, you don't know what they're transferring. So it's an opportunity to celebrate them. If you have a song, a poem that you've composed yourself for all these people at the front line, lines, you want to share that with us. So our social media handle has our WhatsApp number. You can send that to us. If you have challenges, you've seen challenges they're going through, you want to share it with us so government will see and work on it, you are welcome to bring that as well. Any exceptional stories that there are to be told as far as these people are concerned, we look forward to that. Anybody going the extra mile, we want to celebrate them. Donations as well. We're hoping that people will be willing to donate, help with PPEs. The world is suffering from PPEs. So if you have any of these donations, food, even in America, they're sharing food to doctors and nurses. We want to help people, give people the opportunity to do all of that.
We are at war with the coronavirus pandemic, and our front line has soldiers who don't carry arms, they wear gloves. They are our doctors, our nurses, our healthcare professionals who treat us every day as the hospital. We just want to tell you that we support you. We appreciate every effort that you make. We appreciate the fact that you put your life at risk. We appreciate the fact that some of you have had to keep time I finally understand for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. We appreciate you, we love you, we support you, and we will do our part in this war by washing our hands, by maintaining a good social distance, and by staying at home.
My name is Raymond N.D. Labi, Human Resource Shared Services Manager of the Multimedia Group. To all those at the front line against COVID-19. In these challenging times, we believe those at the forefront of this fight, the nurses, the doctors, the cleaners, the security officers, the drivers, the technicians, we want to urge them on to remember the oath that they have signed on to know that all Ghanaians are behind them.
When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the street. Though back at the time, I never thought I'd see a face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place.
And Spikey is already wrapping to that. He's coming shortly and coming out shortly with the Geek Squad. And that's a Dear Mama from Tupac. We dedicated to all our frontline workers. And the frontline, like Gifty and Nopia told you, is a segment on the pulse. And we are appreciating them. Whatever song you have, you can rap like Tupac. Send it to them. We would appreciate it. So that's a Dear Mama. And that's it for News Night here on Joy 99.7 FM. And the Geek Squad, we are up next. And we'll leave you with the awareness song, We Are the World. I am Emefa Apawu. Thanks for your company.
There comes a time